Hello, hello, hello! So wonderful to see you here. This is the 45-minute Rogue Moons workout. And honestly, I think it might be one of the very toughest workouts I have created yet. I mean, it wears me out, and I have pretty good endurance. So if somehow you ended up here without knowing, the Rogue Moons is the first book in the Obsidian Gods trilogy, and it's also the first book that I have published. It comes with its own music and obviously these workouts, so I hope you also check that out if you haven't already and that you enjoy it. Alright, so first we will start with a warm-up. 30 seconds of moon body circles. So as you can see, it's basically just bending over and making circular motions with your body, keeping your legs straight, and basically just making the shape of a full moon. There will be a lot of moon-themed moves in this workout in honor of the source material. And I love this stretch for the way that I feel it everywhere in my body, so I had to include it. Alright, these are power pushes. So it's basically just 3 pulses in a lunge, and then you kick your leg up, and basically you'd be pretending that there's a scene in the first book when the 2 main characters are sort of having a battle of sheer will with their powers, and that's where this comes from. Next up is jogging. We have to jog. We have to, because the Rogue Moons centers on a couple of vigilantes, and there's a lot of jogging involved. I also do arm circles to continue stretching out my arms, and because again, it's like making the shape of a full moon, so it's in keeping with the theme. You can just jog if you would prefer. Next up will be bayonet thrusts, so go to the side, and it's sort of a semi-squat, going back and forth on your legs, and as you can see, swinging an invisible bayonet. Now the reason behind this is that there's a group of people in this planet that governs that basically handles the government and also law enforcement and operates all the temples. They are called Shaitas, and they use bayonets. Starting back from the top of those warm-ups, moon body circles. Alright. I honestly, I know that I tried, that I saw this move on an online workout that I tried out, but I don't remember which one it was. I love trying new online workouts. I do it all the time, and sometimes they leave an impression on me, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just 1 or 2 moves that stick with me. It must have been one of those. So yes, now pulsing lunges and power pushes on the other side. And if you feel silly keeping your arms up, or if they get tired really quickly, just keep them down. That's fine. As long as you're at least doing the pulsing static lunge, your legs should be warming up. Okay, back to jogging with arm circles. And if you are doing the arm circles as well, it's okay if you you don't have to do one arm at a time either. Obviously, you can do both arms at the same time, the whole time. Alright, and back to bayonet thrusts on the other side. I did try watching a couple videos of people using bayonets to get an idea of how the technique is supposed to go. I know it's still not quite perfect, but as long as it warms you up, that's really all that matters. This isn't a bayonet class, after all. And done. 20 seconds, the workout officially starts. or at least the more vigorous part of it does. The first move will be squat with pancake flips. So you'll squat with a wide stance, pulse, and then do a little hop while swinging your arms up like you're holding a frying pan and you're flipping a pancake in it. Just like that. If you don't want to hold your arms out, that's not important to the move. So you can drop them, hold them out at your sides, hold them over your head, just clap every time you hop, whatever you'd prefer to do. This is just in honor of Amric. He is one of the main characters of the Rogue Moons, and he is a cook at a restaurant. And I saw a video of somebody flipping a pancake similarly to this, not with the squat or the hop, but just that with a really graceful movement of their arms, and it was a huge frying pan, and I just was fascinated. So, okay, next up, front lunges with fireball punches. So basically, you'll lunge forward with one leg, just focusing on one side of your body, and punch with the opposite arm, and with a hop at the beginning if you want to do that with me. I like hopping. I try to incorporate it into my moves whenever it seems reasonable. So Amric is a god from a moon called Helios, and all the gods there have power over fire, and they also are necromancers. So, although Amric does not like to practice necromancy, whoops, it's okay if you lose your balance, he does enjoy using his fire magic and especially sending fireballs out of his fists. Next up will be diagonal flame sword slashes, so you'll be in a squat again, and just pretend that you're holding a sword, and you're going to basically just bend your upper body back and forth, or lean, yeah, and pretend that you are slashing a sword. So this is a nice one, as a little bit of a break for your legs, even though you're still on them. They are not moving so much, but you're still keeping your heart rate up. You're doing cardio, and you should feel this a lot in your obliques. And if you actually decide to hold a sword, then you might be working your arms out a little bit too. I didn't have a sword. I thought about getting one, honestly. Next up is ladder climbs. So this is basically kind of high knees while raising your arms and then pulling them down, and alternating that as if you're climbing a ladder, exactly like that. Now, some of these moves are hard to explain. It's a lot easier to just show them. And the reason behind this one is that Amric, there's a scene and it's just a very brief passage that mentions he has to get into a place by climbing a ladder. And so I figured, you know, the ladder climbing isn't necessarily important, but the scene is. So I went ahead and included this in his circuit. All right, and we are back to the top of Amric's circuit with the squat with pancake flips. By now you might be feeling a bit of a burn in your legs, especially with this move. You know, because not only do you have to stay on your legs in a squat, trying to keep your legs as parallel as you can to the floor, but yeah, you gotta be hopping too. Mine always burn after this move. So if you're curious, Amric does really like to cook. It's not necessarily his dream job, but he escaped his moon for very personal reasons and has struggled to survive on the planet since then. Being a cook is one of the only things that he's able to do, if only because he had to get good at it in order to survive. Okay, Next up is forward lunges with fireball punches. Again, this time focusing on the other side of your body. Hopefully you remember which side you did last time. And don't forget the hop at the start if you're going to do that. I'm punching here with my non-dominant arm, so it always feels a little bit more awkward for me. But the point is to just get it done. So even though Amric likes doing this move, he doesn't do it very often, simply because it is pretty dangerous, and he tries to be careful. He's a pretty methodical kind of person. Okay, back to diagonal flame sword slashes. I think that I forgot to mention this when we were going through this circuit the first time, but this is another one of Amric's favorite moves. He likes to create a flame sword or blade. He likes to use that to fight or to just cut himself out of difficult situations, and it especially comes in handy in his fights with the other main character. And you'll probably be able to guess why once I talk about her in the next circuit. I enjoy this move, but sometimes it makes me a little bit dizzy just because you're going back and forth so often. I'm curious if it makes anybody else dizzy too. Okay, rounding out his circuit with ladder climbs. Now, if for whatever reason your knees are bothering you, or you feel like you need to conserve your energy for the rest of the workout, because we've still got quite a lot of time left, then you can just raise your knees in a march rather than in this run or bouncing. The important thing, again, is just that you keep moving in some way. You also don't have to turn yourself back and forth like I do. I just feel like it's more visually interesting, and also it's just more interesting in general to move around instead of staying in the same place, I think. Okay, and we are starting the next circuit, which belongs to Zelia, the other main character of the Rogue Moons. She is a server at the restaurant where Amric is a cook. So first we'll be doing a backward lunge and then tipping, ideally on one leg, but if you want to do it on the other leg, you can. Or on both legs, I mean, you can. So it won't work your muscles quite as much, but again, as long as you're still moving, just do whatever you can, or lift up your leg, not quite so much. I try to keep a straight line. It's pretty hard though. So this move, the backwards lunge, makes me think of serving somebody, especially with that, holding up your hands up as if you have a plate. And then the tipping is for how tipping culture is still an expectation in the United States. Sadly, I am sorry for servers everywhere that it is so. Hopefully one day that will be fixed. Okay, ice lance throws. So it's a side lunge and a twist, and you're throwing your arm as if you're throwing a lance or a baseball, whichever is easier for you to think of. So because of the lunge, you should feel this in your legs, and because of the twist, you should feel it in your obliques. And possibly the rest of your core too. It doesn't work the arms quite so much, at least not in this workout. But the arm is crucial. The way that you swing it is crucial for your momentum. Um, next up will be lunges with ice blasts. So basically you're just lunging forward this time, and then pushing your hands out as if you are blasting ice out of your palms, just like that. So this is another move that Zelia likes to do. It's great for ice users, ice and water magic users, and I think I forgot to mention in the last move that she is from a moon called Darie, and the gods there specialize in water and ice magic and healing. So when she is in battle, this is one of the moves that she might use. It's a good way to duck and go on the offensive at the same time. Okay, and you will want a mat for this next move if you're not already on a soft cushy carpet. You're going to be on your elbows for a plank, and then you'll rock your body forward and back 3 or 4 times, and then pop your hips 3 or 4 times each side. I feel like this one is more challenging than it looks, but you really do challenge your balance and the strength in your obliques with those hip pops, and also with going back and forth, but I think especially the hip pops in my opinion. Anyway, so this move comes from the same scene in which Amric has to climb a ladder to get to the important place where the scene takes place. Zelia has to crawl or shimmy through air ducts. So this is for that. Done, and now we are going back to the top of her circuit. So, like Amric, Zelia left her moon for personal reasons, but she didn't have very much job experience outside of basically learning to fight and just doing chores. So being a server is one of her best options for right now, but she is outgoing, good with people, and she likes being of service to people, and she hopes that it's just a temporary detour on her way to the bigger things that she dreams about. Ice Lance throws, this time on the other side of your body. And I think I forgot to mention it the last time we did this move in this workout, but ice lances or javelins, that's another move that Zelia really likes. She's a pretty small person, so it looks a little crazy to see her throwing some huge ice lance, but that's part of the effect. It's intimidating, and it's powerful, and it tends to get the job done. And here we go. Next up, more lunges with ice blasts. Please note that if you actually manage to blast ice out of your palms, I would like to know, and I'd like to know how you did it. But I will be honest, there were kind of 2 inspirations for this move. One is Zelia, of course, and another is the video game Chrono Trigger, an RPG that was made in the 90s, the game that made me love games, and still one of my very favorites ever. There's a character in that game who has ice magic, and one of her moves is to step forward in a lunge like this while shooting ice from her hands. So When I thought about somebody fighting with ice magic, it naturally came to mind. All right, and back to the shimmy planks. After this, you get a water break. Yay! Okay. Now I know, again, that this can be challenging, keeping your balance and keeping yourself up. So I think it's mainly a trick of figuring out how to get comfortable with it, as comfortable as you can with a plank. I often keep my hands turned inward, and for whatever reason that's more comfortable for me, but some people I know like to have them out to this, like directly under their shoulders. All right, now time for the water break. Yay! I like the minute-long water breaks. I think it's a great way to catch your breath and actually have more than a few seconds at a time to hydrate yourself. Not that you should be guzzling water, of course. That's a little counterproductive when you're in the middle of a workout, but more than, you can at least get more than a tiny sip or two. But as you can see, I'm also moving around. I like to dance around during this break. You can also just step or do a light jog or jump ropes or something like that. Just stay active even during your rests. And now we're going to shuffle dodges. So shuffle from one side to the other, and then just duck or dodge. This should be as smooth as you can make it. And see if you can get even lower in your legs than I am. You can also shuffle more times before getting to the duck or the dodge. I'm limited in my space because of the cell phone camera. So, okay. Next up will be a punch combo, and let me explain it to you because I do go pretty fast. First is a straight punch with your front arm. So you're getting into a fighting stance. Straight punch with the front arm. Jab is a straight punch with the back arm. Hook with the front arm, which is just raising your arm up in the shape of a hook, basically. And then an uppercut with your back arm. As you can see, I kind of naturally squat during the uppercut, and I was aware of it even at the time of how counterproductive it would be to squat while uppercutting, at least in most cases probably, but this is just cardio and it's more work for the legs, so I rolled with it. You can too if you want to, and try to pivot your back, turn your back heel when you are uppercutting and doing jabs. Honestly, you should probably also be turning your front heel when you do the hooks. I'm not always great at that, but I try. Okay, next will be a squat to uppercut. So we're working the legs again and focusing solely on uppercuts. Get back into a fighting stance and you'll squat, and as you come up, you uppercut. This, if it were fiercer and faster, would be a way more effective uppercut, I think, because you're actually coming up with the cut. I think that this one is also sort of a nice breather. There's not so much jumping or fast movements involved, although you can get faster. Go faster than me if you want to. I started speeding up a little bit here. But you're still moving, even while sort of kind of catching your breath. Okay, double front kicks. So this time you can just face the screen, and you'll do two front kicks with one leg, and then two front kicks with the other leg, and just keep going back and forth like that. And try not to snap your knee too hard. I don't want you hurting anything. And you don't have to go as high as me, or if you can go higher, by all means go higher. And another option would be to just lift up your knees. Do knee raises on both legs if the kicking is too uncomfortable for you. I love kicking though. I was happy to add this move to the workout. Kicking is fun. Okay, weave, punch, and kick. So you'll start with weaving back, and then as you come forward, you punch with your outer arm and kick with your back leg as well. So there you go, like that. Again, easier to demonstrate than to explain. Weave is a good way to dodge or to get your bearings, from what I understand anyway. I haven't actually taken a boxing class. Be as quick as you can without compromising your form, and again, just lift your knee or kick lower if you're having trouble with those front kicks. We'll do the other side the second time through this circuit, so don't worry. Next is jumping front and back kicks. This is really fun. I used to do kicks like these all the time when I was a kid, just because I liked to pretend that I was a superhero or a ninja or something. So you lift up one leg, and then that gives you momentum to lift up the opposite leg to do a jump kick. And then as you can see, there's also a back kick involved. You can take out the jump if it's too hard on your knees. And if you have any trouble with the back kick, try looking back. For whatever reason, that tends to help with the balance and with lifting your leg. But with all these kicks, both front and back, you can also just kick lower or lift up your knees. There you go. Starting back at the top of that circuit now with the shuffle dodges. This is a nice one to start the circuit with. It's mainly a defensive move, and there's really not a lot to it. But again, if you can, try getting even lower than me and keep the movements smooth. And tell me what you're dodging in your imagination, what's coming at you. All right, back to the straight jab, hook, uppercut, punch combination, this time on the other side of your body. So if you're like me, then this will be your southpaw side, and maybe your weaker side if you're not left-handed. But that's okay. If you look a little awkward, the point is to just try. Try to keep your punches tight, like keep your muscles flexed, keep them close to your body. Because when they're flailing around, not only would they not be quite so effective if you're actually in a fight, but it doesn't work your muscles as much as it could. Okay. Now we are doing the squat to uppercut again on the other side. Ready and go. Yes. So this circuit, if you don't remember, I had the circuit names at the beginning of the workout. It is called Halleas versus Darrier. So these are all moves that that both of the moons would probably share, but they are fierce rivals, so these are also moves that they might use on each other. They have gotten into a lot of fights in the past, unfortunately. And next up we are back to the double front kicks. Yay, kicking! I actually did not hop for these double front kicks, but you can add hops if you want to. If you haven't been hopping already, or if you have more energy than me, feel free. But I love kicks because I feel like it's a great way to get some energy or even some frustration out of your system. But it also requires leg strength and hip strength and core strength. It's a great way to work so many things while also releasing some stress from your mind and maybe just feeling cool. It's just really fun. Okay, next is weave, punch, and kick, this time on the other side of your body. Remember, you weave back, punch with your back arm, and kick with your back leg as you come forward. Try to keep this movement as smooth as you can too. The smoother you keep it, you can kind of end up losing yourself in it a little bit. It's not quite as strenuous as some of the other moves, but it still challenges you just enough to keep your heart rate up. And with all the swaying and the repeated movements, there's something a little hypnotic about it, in my opinion. Okay, jumping front and back kicks, this time with your other leg doing the front kicks and the other leg doing the back kicks. Whichever legs were doing them before, switch it up this time. And please remember that if you happen to lose your balance, it's perfectly fine. Just take a second to regain your bearings and get back into it. Like that. And that. If you're like me, you're probably getting pretty tired at this point. It didn't help that, it was a hot summer day while I did this. I didn't really have a choice though. Had to do it while the weather was still nice. Okay, next circuit. And the final circuit. This one is called the Gods versus the Undead, which I will get into again in a minute. Side kicks. So you'll be focusing on just one leg. Kick it as high as you can to the side. I find it's usually easier to kick it high if you lean your body in the opposite direction a little bit. And if you sort of swing your arm on the same side as the leg that's kicking to give it some momentum. I can't kick super high, but I feel like that's a fairly decent height for, for someone with moderate flexibility. And as you bring your leg up, your knee should be a little bent, and then you snap it out again, not so hard that you hurt your knee. Okay, next up will be crescent kicks. So you'll get into a fighting position and you're bringing your back leg up and swinging it to the inside of your body before taking it back to its place. So just like that. This this can be pretty hard if you haven't done anything like it before. I don't really remember how I started doing it. I want to say it's probably a combination of me enjoying kicking and messing around with it and seeing something in another workout that was something similar. But it must have been one of those workouts that I didn't like overall, but made one or two specific impressions. Anyway, once again, kick lower if you need to. It's perfectly fine, or lift up your knee only if you need to. Next up is crescent punches. This is another move that doesn't require as much strain from your body to do, but it still keeps your heart rate up. You lunge to the side and bring your fist out in a side punch. Keep your muscles flexed, and as you can see, you're making a crescent shape as you bring your arm out. I'm not sure how effective this would be in an actual fight, but it goes with the theme, and it's a nice little, I wouldn't even call it necessarily an active rest, but just a lower impact move to have between higher impact moves. Okay, now remember the punch combo from before. Here you're just going to do the straight and the jab, and then add in a side kick. So get into your fighting stance again. Now, to keep my balance, I always bring my foot up to step before going into that kick. If you are able to go straight from those punches to the kicks, amazing. I aspire to do that someday. But if, like me, you gotta catch your balance first, also perfectly fine. Just keep moving as quickly and consistently as you can, for the sake of your cardio and also for the sake of the imaginary enemies that you are fighting. Okay, next up will be another punch combo, the hook and the uppercut, this time with the crescent kicks. So you get to practice the crescent kicks even more! Yay, you're welcome! Even though they are hard, I really like them. Plus that uppercut, the way it forces your body to turn, it's a great lead up to that crescent kick, because you need that momentum to really swing your leg all the way up. Keep going. You are becoming a mighty god, even as we speak. Alright, now this time, back kick to crescent punch. I think this one can be a little tricky to get the hang of at first, but basically you're just, you're doing a back kick. Obviously you can hop first if that helps you, and then as you come back, you go into a crescent punch with the opposite arm. Yeah, pretty much like that. And just keep going. My kicks are losing their height a little bit. We're getting close to the end of the workout. About to do the last circuit, or well, round 2 of the last circuit. And wow, I told you, it takes a lot out of you. Whew. Okay, back to the side kicks. This time, of course, with your opposite leg. Alright, and so I was going to talk a little bit about the meaning of the gods versus the undead. It's no secret, I mean, I believe it's even in the blurb, that the rogue moons focuses on a mysterious uptick in the number of reanimated corpses attacking people. So necromancy is very obviously involved, but Amric has no idea why. And he and Zelia want to try to figure out the problem before their moons end up starting a war with each other over it. Okay, next up we are doing crescent kicks. And I just want to point out a little bit, I tend to do a little squat before going into that crescent kick. It's a great way to gain momentum for that swing. I also swing my arms around. Just anything that you can do to give your body the momentum it needs, do it. And knowing the basic plot of the rogue moons, you might be imagining using this move on a zombie, or walking undead, whatever you want to call them. So, doing this workout might actually prepare you for the zombie apocalypse if it ever occurs. So you're welcome! Next up will be crescent punches again, this time with your other arm. Although I kind of feel like if there were a zombie apocalypse, I don't know, I feel like, at least the way that apocalypses are depicted in shows and movies, it just sounds really exhausting. I don't know that I'd even, I don't know, I guess if I couldn't live with a peaceful faction of people, I don't know. I don't want to have to be fighting all the time just for scraps of food. Let's just hope that a zombie apocalypse never occurs. Alright, punch combo with this, is the straight jab with side kicks, this time with the other side of your body. So, if you're the type of person to prepare for a zombie apocalypse or any other kind of apocalypse, tell me, what do you do to prepare? I sure hope that a lot of you are the types to prepare with, like basic life skills, like things like gardening, homesteading, and not necessarily by just storing a bunch of weapons. I like to think we could still have a fairly civilized society in such a dystopian future. Punch combo, hook and uppercut with crescent kicks. This time with the other side of your body. Get ready, there are just a couple more moves left. We're almost there. I had a thought. Where did it go? Right. Thinking about preparing for a zombie apocalypse. I would think that being able to do homesteading would be the best way to prepare for something like that. Unfortunately, there's a lot that I do not know. I kind of have the black thumb of death when it comes to gardening. And I can take care of pets, but not farm animals. There are a lot of things that I would have to learn about basic survival. So I am curious how other people, what other people would consider the most important and what they do to prepare for the worst, just in case it were to ever happen. Okay. Final move, the back kick to the crescent punch. Yes. Another thought is, those back kicks, they they definitely do work your back and also your hips. So if you have problems in those areas, I mean, obviously you should be talking to a doctor before doing new workouts. And I even have a little screen at the beginning of the workout to say that. But basically, if you're doing this and it's causing a lot of bad pain in your back, not the muscle building kind, or your hips, just maybe consider doing front kicks and then crescent punches. Woo! You are done! Congratulations! You made it through one of the toughest workouts I have ever made so far, anyway. If you look at my website, you should see a list of other workouts that I have created and recorded and just still have to finish putting together with music and captions and everything. So there's definitely a lot more coming, but this is one of the hardest, so awesome work. All right, finished off my water bottle there. It was necessary. Okay, first stretch. You don't have to stretch the way that I do. But these are just some ideas. This is one of my very, very favorites because it stretches. You feel the stretch everywhere. I just love it. It feels so good. So as you can see, one leg is up perpendicular to the floor, the other is lunged backwards, and then you're twisting your arm up, your arm up to the ceiling. Other side. This isn't like directly relevant to anything in the Rogue Moons, unlike pretty much everything else in the workout, but since there are plot twists and this stretch has a twist, and it's one of my favorites, I decided to put it in. It's my workout, I can do what I want to, do what I want to. Alright, up, and next we will be doing arm circles. First one side of your body and then the other. Feels so good. Just to be stretching without bouncing or running or kicking. Both arms. And in a second we'll be doing those moon body circles again because we need another total body stretch after all that work. And despite how hard this was, I hope that you enjoyed it, and that if you haven't read the book yet, it has inspired you to read it, or that you'll want to go and listen to the music without my voice over it. Ta-da! Please like and subscribe, and visit my websites for more information. Thank you!